As I come back, I'm going to finish up some of this part of the eye and the eyebrow. Okay, I adjust my pencil, holding it like this, which is the better way to do it. It gives you more sensitivity when you're working that pencil. Now the forehead is not going to be flat. It's actually going to come up, raise up, and then go back. And if you see that I just adjusted that form by this line, we can see it makes a whole different shape to that ball shape now. It raises it up and doesn't make it look so flat. Okay. Okay. Now we got the ear coming out. The lion's ear is fairly large. Lioness's ears look very large in proportion to their head because they don't have as much mane, but we're going to fill this guy in with some mane, so even though he has a large ear, it'll fall in size disproportionate once we get the mane on him. You'll see how those ears will seem rather diminished in size. Now the ear it's cup shaped. It's like a little teacup. It comes out. Okay, it's got like a little potato chip look to it. Okay. That's what we're doing here. And we fill it with some hair. And we go across in perspective to the other side and find the other side of the head, which I'm now continuing to fill out as this guy develops. Find the ear and line that up on that side. Okay, so we'll continue that nice little cup shape. He could be tilting one ear forward and one ear back because the animal is always tracking sound, picking up information, so the ears are very independent from each other. Okay. And now, about midway on that forehead, I'm going to begin to give this guy some mane. You can see how he developed first from a simple idea to more complex. When you're doing hair, it's important that you don't get overwhelmed with the hair itself. Remember, hair follows form, and don't draw hair if it's just to stick hair on the thing. You should be helping to carry the main idea of the form around the neck. See, as it comes around, we start to lay in the direction of that hair. And it starts off simple first, and then we begin to develop it, starting off. Notice the hair follows the form, follows the shape of the head. Coming out, it comes around the zygomatic arch of the jaw and grows out on his beard. Okay, we don't worry about individual hair. We look at the whole mane as an expression of the whole shape. Okay, so once you get in and you start locking in that idea, it becomes much easier to deal with hair. You don't worry about individual strands. Okay, now I got to stand up here to get over the drawing, carry it further. Hold on. Okay, I got my hand holding one camera here, and alright, so now I'm going to start laying in the hair. And as I lay in the hair, notice I don't worry about individual strands. I'm more after letting the hair fall across the form and sort of help describe the form of that animal. Okay, come around here. Pushing. And notice as I push some into shadow, it helps highlight other areas, that brings those areas forward in space towards us. Okay, come back. I'm going to have my light source come in from, ideally, from over here, you know, sort of 3/4 down on the front. That's the ideal, and it helps us find the form, helps us describe a little more. Notice I'm not worried about individual hairs. I'm more worried about looking at the expression of how that hair will fall across the form, across the lion's shape. Okay. And as I come down, pushing some of his side planes of his face into the dark, because the sun's not hitting it as strong, giving a very distinctive brow. Okay, and now pushing that mane back. I've only got a couple minutes left on my camera, so I'm going to try to wrap this short lesson up. I'm locking in the nose, excuse my camera. There we go. And notice even the nose pad, as I wrap around the form, I'm developing the shape of the whisker, the shape of the nose by outlining a little bit of those whisker markings. Okay. Coming down here, finding the underside of the jaw, cutting back underneath the jaw where it's distance away from the light. Okay, not too much worried about rendering in this. We're more just following the form, getting the gesture down. This is not a long study. Okay, I've only been doing this sketch for about 13 minutes. This is a quick sketch. I call this a quick sketch. Okay, and we are almost there for this short demonstration. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just work on a few little details, not too much, but you can see as I come in to add a little depth. By the way, I'm using a sanguine pencil. It's a Carbothello, Stabilo Carbothello number 1400-645. It has a nice red, earthy tone to it, and it's a great flexible pencil. It's soft, it doesn't have any hardness to it, and it really looks good when you're doing natural drawings like animals and things. You want to have that nice earthy tone to it. Now, if I wanted to spend a lot of time rendering, I could spend hours doing this, but that's not the purpose of this demonstration. This demonstration is really about draftsmanship and quick sketch, the gesture. Because when you're drawing life, like at the zoo, these animals aren't going to sit and pose for you. You should be able to crank out a gesture very, very quickly. And although this is longer than my usual gestures and going much deeper, it helps people understand a process. If I give you 100%, you might remember 80%, or 50%. If I show you how to draw a quick sketch gesture, then you've got a bit of information to carry you through. But if I show you a little more information like I'm doing here, well, then you can choose between just handling a quick sketch gesture or taking it to a little more complex level. Okay. Now, as I work the hair, I'm not worried again about individual strands. I'm really, and notice I'm not scratching and hatching. I'm taking these long, moving strokes. Okay. And that will help. And notice behind the ear there's usually a little shadow. It helps push that form. And as I darken this stuff back here, notice it pushes the forms in front forward because they're highlighted more. Okay, so we're just going to finish this guy out as a rough gesture. And maybe, you see how white and flat this looks? I'm going to come in here now and start giving it a little more work, just a little, to help show that form, that nose pad. It has a sense of direction across the front. Might be a little slight crevice here because from snarling. He's not snarling now, but you can sometimes see some of those lines. And just give him a little shape. Okay. And broaden that eye out a little. Push this one back. It's on the other side, away from the sun. And if you really, once you're done messing around in there a little bit, you can come in with your kneaded eraser and just pick out a few little highlights. Okay. On that eye, or pop some of that form a little forward if you want. Okay, and good. Now when you're doing whiskers, keep them light and lively as a final touch, and don't overwork them. They begin to look like heavy brooms. Same thing with the tail. Just keep some of those minor details very, very light, and don't worry about overdoing them. It's too, you put in one or two too many and it starts to look really bristly and awful. So, alright, well, there's your lion, and I hope you enjoyed it. There it is. Thank you very much.